Hello, my friend. This is Clyde. Your presence is heaven to me. On August 14th, 2012, the American gospel writer Israel Houghton and New Breed, his band, released a song entitled, Your Presence is Heaven to Me. The song was written jointly by Houghton and Micah Massey, and it speaks of a personal and invaluable matter, experiencing the presence of the Lord. Since God is not physical as we are, to experience the presence of the Lord is a deeply profound and inexplicable encounter with a God who is omnipresent, not limited to time and space, but a God who exists beyond the boundaries of our human understanding. The opening line of the song says, "Who is like you, Lord, in all the earth? Matchless love and beauty, endless worth. Nothing in this world can satisfy, because Jesus, you're the cup that won't run dry. Your presence is heaven to me." You might want to listen to it for yourself, but for this moment, let us talk about the presence of the Lord, the experience and the benefits. Houghton is one of numerous singer-songwriters who have explored the matter of the presence of the Lord. There's nothing quite like the presence of the Lord. You might be familiar with the famous line from Psalm 16, verse 11, which says, "You make known to me the path of life. You will fill me with joy in your presence, with eternal pleasures at your right hand." The writer of that psalm speaks of the experience in a way that suggests that each person has to experience. I have been to Disney World a few times, but on one occasion, my wife and son took me to one of the theme parks in Orlando to experience something that they had experienced some time before. It was awesome, nerve-wracking, exciting, nothing like I had ever experienced. At the end of the tour, I had to admit that they did a poor job of selling it to me, only because it is something that you have to experience for yourself. You cannot depend on another person's experience. That's the simplest way to explain the presence of the Lord, my friend. Houghton tries in his song with such a dramatic title, but you cannot understand it until you experience it for yourself. The line from the Psalm 16 passage that arrests my attention is, "You will fill me up with joy in your presence." The classic King James Version says, "In thy presence is fullness of joy." What does that mean? First of all, the presence of the Lord is not a figment of your imagination. It is real. When you are in the presence of the Lord, you have the opportunity to experience maximum joy. You get to enjoy being in the actual presence of the sovereign Lord. That's my new favorite name for God. It is indescribable because it is so refreshing, so comforting, so delightful, so sweet. Just think about the nicest experience you've ever had. Well, the writer says the presence of the Lord far surpasses that. Fullness of joy. Think about it. It means that you attain maximum delight, happiness, pleasure when you are in the presence of the Lord. It's like you don't want to leave. You don't want to come back to earth. Moses speaks about the presence of the Lord as something that you experience, something that you cannot touch, but you are immensely conscious that the presence of the Lord is with you. In Exodus 32, while Moses was up in the mountain on one of his frequent alone times with God, the Israelites down below got bored and decided that they wanted a God that they can see and touch and feel. And so they made a golden calf and claimed that that was the real God that had brought them out of Egypt. Have you ever heard such nonsense? God was not amused, and so in a later conversation with Moses, God expressed his displeasure and told Moses that he should continue to lead the people to the promised land, but without him, God. Instead, they would be accompanied by an angel. Well, that did not sit well with Moses, and he told God, "If your presence does not go with us, do not send us up from here." In other words, if your presence is not going any further, then we might as well stay right here. That is telling it like it is. The man was saying, we cannot do without the presence of the Lord. Your presence is heaven to me. That is how we started. Let us go back to the Bible. And there is a verse smack in the middle of the exciting description of end times that we've come to know about. Revelation 3 and verse 20 says, "Here I am. I stand at the door and knock. If anyone hears my voice and opens the door, I will come in and eat with that person and they with me." The presence of the Lord is not something you book to experience and join a waiting line. Jesus wants to visit you, and here he is outside your door. And he says that if you open the door and invite him in, he will gladly step inside and spend precious time with you. How can you ignore the presence of the Lord waiting outside your world, the God of all creation who wants to visit you personally? Today, I invite you to spend some time in the presence of the Lord. One songwriter says him and Jesus walk and talk in the garden. One other writer says that he loves to be in the presence of the Lord, to lift my hands and praise the Lord. One song says, troubles vanished, hearts are mended in the presence of the King. One other song says, "Oh, the pure delight of a single hour that before thy throne I spend when I kneel in prayer, and with thee, my God, I commune as friend with friend." Wow. Write your own song about your own time in the presence of the Lord. It is entirely up to you. You can open the door of your heart and invite the presence of the Lord inside for an unbelievable time of pure joy. Or you can go into the presence of the Lord, worship him, far away from the restless world around you. The time in his presence will be well spent. You will not regret it. His presence is heaven to me. That's what awaits you. Do not put it off any longer.